saw this stuff about like people on their controlled diets, and people be like, oh, that's so extreme, don't do that. But I'm like, how can they have that discipline and I can't?
It's been a big cultural thing for me, not overeating. I feel like the way my parents have expressed love, or how they have confirmed that they have done a good job as a parent, is obviously, keep you sheltered, watered, fed.
Yeah.
Being 22 and being in a very cutthroat, I'll stand on your neck to get a promotion kind of environment. Mm-hmm. Something about, being in such a scrappy place that I do kind of miss. Thank you for watching. We've actually hit a fair number of followers on Spotify. We're up to, I think, like 50, 51, which is very exciting. We had so little for so long. But thank you. Please keep that up. Please leave your ratings, reviews, like, subscribe. It really, really helps us out. You have no idea how much, so thank you. I did have something. Oh, sorry.
Of course you had something.
I did, but it was for the episode with Ollie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I do have something for us. But he made me super self-conscious.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't want to lay my heart out and get shot down. I can handle a 1v1 attack. Hold on.
Oh. Wait, so you felt because Ollie was there, you couldn't express who you were?
No, because there was two of you. It's nothing to do with Ollie.
Oh, understood.
I've gone for dinner with Ollie in a 1v1 scenario, and I've poured my heart out for him.
It's like I guess it's like a ganging up concern.
A little bit, yeah. Because it's that mob mentality.
Yeah.
If Ollie has a great idea of how to mock me, then you might feel inspired.
Yeah, and laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that belittles you.
Exactly. But it might not even be like your intention to belittle me. It might be the case that Ollie says something funny and you're like, oh, I can add on to that.
Or I need to give him some chuckle.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't feel bad.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And then I'm all on my ones here.
Real issue here. Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to go through.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, just get rid of one.
Okay. This is from a fan. I actually don't know if she's a fan. She could hate our stuff.
You got quite a lot of fans these days.
She decided to.
I've seen some of those DMs. Yeah.
This is a comment that was left.
Okay.
On that post that kind of went viral.
Yeah. How many views?
1.5 million.
Wow.
I know. And I mentioned it to Harvey in the last episode that we shot together.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, dude, it's doing really well. We hit 17,000 views. I was so happy with 17,000 views.
Wait, when you first...
No, because I think I uploaded that when I was in France. I actually think it's been up for quite a while.
But it then just...
It took a while and then it started to really pick up some momentum.
That's nuts.
But being in... Yeah, I never paid it much attention.
Yeah.
And then it just started to...
They do say the first million is the toughest.
Really?
Yeah, and then...
I think that counts for the long form content. Like, my sister keeps... I think my sister has like business plans and things like that. And it's really sweet. She really wants me to take this forward.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it could really be a one-hit wonder. Like, who knows?
Could be, could not be.
Yeah. No,
I'll
keep going.
And you've got your sister there ready.
I know.
This,
like, I couldn't have asked for a better person like nearby for something like this.
Yeah.
So, it was essentially a post, me reading something that was on Tumblr, and I screenshotted it. I don't use Tumblr. There was a screenshot on I think I saw it on Reddit, to be honest. Seeing that, I screenshotted it. I thought it would be a nice thing to read out on the podcast. And somebody commented on that with their own passage, something that they have written.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I actually quite like it. And I might stumble on it because I haven't read it in quite a while. Mm-hmm. So I might mess up the reading.
Let's go for it. You can do it twice.
And and editing and some soft music in the background. That's how I want you to hear this.
Okay, I'm hearing it.
All right. What am I but an amalgamation of every passing soul I have ever met? For I make the coffee the way I saw a girl I met at a cafe instruct the barista to do it. For I toast the bread exactly how golden a friend from school had it for recess, and the eggs exactly how I saw a cousin make it. The dishes I cook have spices modifications of various cuisines I've ever tasted, for my playlist is nothing but a blend of all the happy and sad memories I have of friends and acquaintances. All of the languages I speak, the way I embrace and kiss, the way my hand entwines theirs is an influence of every lover who's shown how beautiful it is to be in love. For the home I made myself speak volumes of the people I've met, places I've been, and memories I've made. For who I am and for who I aspire to be comes from how I was brought up and how I learned the meaning of life. Ah, what am I but an amalgamation of every passing soul I've ever met?
Unreal.
It was very
And that was
beautiful.
a comment.
Yeah, that was from a person called the Shrink Next Door.
Wow.
The.shrink _
Incredible.
next
Yeah.
_ door.
Loving that. Where do you think they were based? Recess? America?
Yeah, I'd say so. That's
Or
a very
somewhere,
American thing.
some
Also,
international.
I don't mean to. That was a beautifully written thing, but how like specific are you with your toast at recess? Like, if you're in recess, you're like, no.
Oh, right.
I require toast 2 shades darker. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's it made me laugh reading it, so I had to like pause
And like actually know the meaning. Wow.
Yeah.
That was strong.
Please keep sending
Yeah.
these in. That made me really happy reading that. There's been loads of comments. There's been loads of love.
People are incredible.
Quite a bit of hate, which is just hilarious.
Yeah. You need a little bit of hate. It makes it.
Yeah, keeps me humble. But
Well,
also
the
it's
jokey
not-
hate is quite funny. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. But how's your week been?
It's been okay.
Okay.
And that's not just been mediocre. I don't mean just mean it's been mediocre. I mean it's been really high and really low.
Okay.
And so it kind of just averages out in the middle.
Hmm.
I just feel like I've had too much going on for too long.
Yeah.
This isn't burnout. This is yearning for a slight gap of nothingness. That's what I feel like it is. I'm going through a few different processes of doing stuff, all stuff that really excites me. But I just feel like I've been going at this speed for too long. And I don't know.
You just want to rein it in.
Just a little, just to refresh. This is the best example. Usually, if you have a poor night's sleep for 3 or 4 days in a row, one good night's sleep isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
You still wake up feeling the same way.
Very true.
But about a week later of solid sleep, you kind of feel re-energized for life. You kind of feel ready. That's what I miss, not the taking a break. I miss feeling fighting fit to take on life.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still doing all the things. I spent such a wonderful weekend in London recently. I've been seeing my family a lot. I have been doing some stuff which I can talk about, a bit later on down the line because it might not go through. And yeah, I feel like I'm excited about that, but it is depleting me.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for that feeling of a solid week's sleep, not sleeping for a week, but a solid week's worth of good night sleeps so that I wake up and I'm like, right, what are we taking on today?
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah, probably looks like you need a lot more focus on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
A lot of this stuff is for me,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Like
resting.
you, like your body,
Yeah.
like not your ambition.
Yeah.
You and where you are now, because what I recommend doing, obviously you talk about sleep a lot, is making some micro changes already.
Okay.
Because like I don't know, that could be tell me some of the things you're a bit fed up of. You're obviously, you feel like you haven't had enough sleep recently.
Yeah.
How's your diet been?
I've been okay.
Okay.
You're right. There was a few moments where my diet should have been better.
Right.
When I'm routinely, it's solid.
Yeah.
But it was all too easy to make an excuse to let it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, that could be something that have a full week of discipline, and that's not like basic food. That's just eating well. When you feel good, like you've made tasty, good, healthy, nutritious food.
Yeah.
That just discipline yourself. That's what you're going to eat. That's all you're going to put into your body.
Yeah.
Control what you put in. I'm not saying that's going to solve everything, but these micro little changes might just take some slack off, so then you can focus on what you really want and what the real other issues are that you're facing. Yeah.
What kind of micro changes have you been making? You've mentioned something.
Yeah, I mean, so stuff like at the moment. So I've been looking at my body a lot and how I feel, my fitness, and I'm like, you know what, I need to just be a little bit more disciplined on that. I still go to the gym, but it's even when I'm in the gym, I'm trying to go a bit of 110%.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I know I've got more in me. I've got more in the tank. And that doesn't sound like relaxation, but it is, because I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm actually utilizing that time to the best of my ability, and I deserve rest when I do. Yeah.
It felt we were at the gym yesterday and we did the Bring Sally Up, Bring Sally Down challenge, and you did the full song.
I've still got the marks.
Yeah, same. I've got actually it healed up pretty quick, but and for people watching, wondering why, the normal challenge is up and then down in the push-up stance. We went to plank and then went back up. But I could see there was, so I think I got to about 2 minutes 30 before I had a quick rest, and then I jumped back in. And then from that moment on, I was taking breaks, and you went for the full song.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if I had that in my tank. How did you feel like giving up at any point and then just gritted through?
Yeah, I of course. Like that was hell.
Yeah.
It was real
It's
tough.
very impressive. But
but no, and I also thought you were still going, right? So I was like, if Sam's up, I'm not going down. So that was good for me as well, because I just couldn't lift my neck up to see you. But the thing that got me was like, no, there are other people that have done this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worse than them. Like, I'm not that. I think I'm trying to challenge myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which probably doesn't go on your whole rest notion, but I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I want. I want that thing of like, yeah, you do it. And that's what I keep going through. So I saw this stuff about like people and their controlled diets, and people be like, oh, that's so extreme, don't do that. But I'm like, how can they have that discipline and I can't? How is that possible that someone out there is able to make sacrifices in what they're eating? They look at cutting out products such as bread and the kind of simplified sugars and so on, yet I snack now and then. Like, where's that coming from? I shouldn't. I should be at the best of my game, and that puts me into a bit of a downer. And I want to kind of, this discipline brings me back up.
Yeah, you said something interesting when I was asking you why you were making these changes. You talked about like you felt like you'd been overindulging certain like cravings, maybe not cravings, but like desires.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what the example was, but we talked about it, and I was like, oh wow, that's quite. Your baseline is solid. Your baseline is very good.
Yeah.
You kind of said, yeah, but it doesn't meet my expectations. That was quite interesting.
Yeah. So to give you some context, I'm rarely one who eats desserts. Yeah, okay. I love them. Don't get me wrong. Like I do enjoy. Okay, love is a strong word. I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah.
If someone were to say you could have this cake and you'd have zero impact on you and your body, of course I'd devour that. But what's recently happened is we all do it. We get comfortable, we get happy, and we're like, okay, go on then. It's a birthday. I'll have a bit of that cake. Of course, that's fine. But what happened is I saw little things like giving in at most angles. Like, oh yeah, you know what? I'll have a coffee here, and I'll have a milkshake. What's that going to do? What's the one milkshake going to do to me?
Yeah.
And before you knew it, I looked at overall, and I was just having a bit here and everywhere. And you start to then see the impact. Mm-hmm. You start to see that, okay, from your mind to your body, everything's not functioning the way you want it to. So yeah, it's kind of just a reset for me. Similar to what you're talking about of a reset in your own way. But mine's a reset of just like, no, let's go back to being a bit more conscious of what we're doing and being aware.
Yeah. It's, you're really kind of, I would argue, over justifying this, because I think I know why. A lot of people seem to consider discipline as the opposite of rest.
Yeah.
Like rest is kind of letting go of everything and kind of giving in. There was a woman entrepreneur, incredible entrepreneur. I have so much respect for her. She was one of the earlier guests on Stephen Bartlett's podcast. I forget what she was called. She set up Tala and Shreddy and a few other businesses while she was at Oxford. Yeah. I forget her name. I'll edit it in. But she said something really interesting where she said sometimes work is self-help. Like for her, getting those things out of her mind and actually just getting them done so she can focus on true rest is actually a part of the rest process. I really like that because it kind of, it let you give into some things. Yeah. Like you're just stressing like, I should be resting. Yeah. And actually, no. Let me take 5 to 10 minutes to get this out of the way. Yep. Not the long projects. I really like that. That was a lot easier. And discipline can be a part of.
You mentioned it when you came back from your trip to France that you said you couldn't wait to get into a bit of a routine. Yeah. Yeah. And that really caught me off guard because like, you've just come from a trip. So I'm like, relax, like take your time. But then I thought about that more and I thought, okay, why is it that when we go on, imagine you go on an all-inclusive holiday and you eat everything you can from the all-you-can-eat buffet and everything, and you're really resting well, and you're enjoying yourself and so on. You're on that flight back after maybe a week and a half. You can't wait to get back into a routine.
Yeah.
I know I can't. Okay, you enjoyed it. You enjoyed yourself, but things are jiggling a little bit more. You're probably not feeling as good as you were before.
Yeah.
You maybe didn't drink as much water. Maybe you were having some drinks out there and so on, and you just don't feel your best.
Yeah.
That's the moment where you're like, I want a bit of a routine. It's funny how suddenly we're on a holiday where that's meant to be the reset, and we're thinking of routine as the reset and structure. Yeah.
I just crave being at my best, and that's what being out of my routine is very short-term fun and amazing. And not everybody is like this. This is the furthest thing from advice, because I actually know people who can't stand the idea of a routine, who feel most inspired when their life is a bit more free-flowing. And these are very successful people.
Yep.
And so that's why I'm like, no, there might be a contrast here. It's not all this. But I remember going to like London and, staying up super late, going out late at night.
Yeah.
This was a few months ago. And when I came back, I was so desperate for my routine, because I think a week or two before that, it felt like it had been my best week.
Yeah.
Like in terms of looking after myself, my sleep routine was flawless. I was, keeping hydrated. I was eating the right food. I was exercising regularly. And it wasn't that I did it for that week. It was the work of the previous weeks that led to that.
Yeah.
So I was waking up feeling refreshed. I felt like I was crushing it here, and I was going home and I still had time to play my video games, to have my fun.
Yeah.
And then that weekend in London was a bit of a shock to the system. And that Monday or that Tuesday, I must have woken up and not felt as great as I did back then.
Yeah.
And I just craved being back there.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to. And I feel that about food now as well. Like food takeaway and like food indulgences, because I love that as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
It's definitely incredibly satisfying in the moment, but it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me happy, but it doesn't make me feel good.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think there's a contrast. Well, there's a difference between them.
Yeah, I completely agreed. And that we all slip up.
Yeah.
But then I start to think, like, is life a yo-yo where you go from being healthy to like letting go of yourself and then being healthy and so on? And I think whilst that's the case, where it seems so in the short term, over time you're continuously increasing your base level.
Yeah.
Where you realize, you know what? I'm not going to have burgers and fries in my indulgence. I'm just going to have a burger.
Right.
Because I want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But I don't want to bring myself all the way back. And it's just those little micro changes when you do indulge that help you. Yeah.
It's been a big cultural thing for me, not overeating. I feel like the way my parents have expressed love, or how they have confirmed that they have done a good job as a parent, is obviously, keep you sheltered, watered, fed.
Yeah.
But the thing that you ask in Arabic after eating is, how was that? Are you full? You always ask if they're full or not. And I don't like that mindset, because I think that's impacted me into the later life. I get why, ultimately, why that can equal, like, I've fed my child, they're full, I've done good. But yeah, I've gone out to restaurants now where I might, I feel like food is where I do indulge from time to time.
Yeah.
And I did it way more in my past, but now I'll sit at a restaurant where, old Sam would sit down and say, let's use the burger analogy because that's perfect. So I have a burger and I'll have chips. And I'll look at the menu, I'll look at the sides and I'll go, oh, wings. Yeah, wings look good. So I'll have a side of wings, maybe a starter as well. Like I could eat all that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, right.
But I went out for breakfast with a friend not too long ago, and they looked at the menu and saw like a stack of pancakes fully loaded, all that stuff. And it was good. It was a good place, so that they're going to taste good. And I had the porridge, and all I was thinking about was the rest of the day. And lo and behold, my friend for the rest of the day was like, oh, that was tough. That was tricky. And I just had some clean porridge.
Good,
yeah. And then, had some more food later.
It's weird, that little decision, though, that you probably wouldn't have made before, right?
No.
You would have gone straight in. And it's weird how the mind works.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
All right. So what do you want to talk about for today's episode after that 20-minute intro?
That was a nice intro. So welcome to the Feel Good Inc. podcast.
I have an idea for the cover photo.
Okay.
It's going to be the gorillas.
Oh.
Because it's Feel Good Inc., right?
Yeah,
that's what I keep
going. Okay.
So it's like 4 mugshots.
Oh.
So I figured we'd do some mugshots. Director's debrief, and then
a few,
just some fun stuff. So let's take some pictures after this.
Love that.
I have a meeting straight after this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So wanted to talk about money. Yeah. We love this conversation. You do.
I love learning about it. I genuinely feel like I don't have much to offer.
I don't understand where that comes from. So we're gonna flip this a little bit.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna
ask me some hard questions.
I'm gonna ask you what your perception is. And what you think.
Good
and
stuff.
This isn't a trick question. This isn't like you think in that way. It's just I'm treating what we hear as like what people are generally thinking. And like what's going on.
Be brutally honest as well. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And so I'm just interested as well. And this is also a good thing because sometimes we're in our tunnel vision with what we think of things, and it's good to express it. So, money, finance, the world, the economy,
all of the above.
Yeah, all real interesting. Did you ever have any thought of going into? I know you came from a bit of finance background. You worked in finance in London.
Kind of.
You kind of accidentally went into finance.
Very accidentally. And I worked for a finance company, a fintech company.
Okay.
I wasn't really that involved with the finance. I worked in fraud, KYC, know your customer.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And working in finance, did you feel that was where did you enjoy yourself in finance? Did you have a calling within finance? Did you ever think about it?
Do you know what I loved? Not so much the finance element of it, but I love the atmosphere of working in finance.
Okay.
Because you're very tied into all of the elements. And by finance, I mean like loans and stuff, not stock brokering or trading or anything like that. But you're kind of within the same world. You're around the similar type of people, and you're around the same sort of youthful competitiveness.
Yeah.
We were talking about this recently where I was like, you need to find a place that like inspires you. I will cut this out because
He hasn't. What? Sorry. Yeah. Spoke to a person.
I spoke to a person about doing this, about a younger person about 1 year, a younger person about going out and finding something, being in an environment that excites them. So finance itself, I don't know. I wasn't that involved.
Yeah.
But the environment of finance, there's something about being, I think I was 22 and being in a very cutthroat, I'll stand on your neck to get a promotion kind of environment. Something about, being in such a scrappy place.
Yeah.
That I do kind of miss.
What gets your juices going.
Yeah. And it is very competitive. It's very ego driven, which has good and bad, of course. And being in London, working in central London in a finance company, there's something very exciting about that. So I really like the environment. I don't know if I missed my calling or whatever.
But you enjoyed that.
I liked being there. I have zero regrets about being there.
Okay. And in terms of, let's take personal finance to start with.
Okay.
What was your first encounter with the idea of savings or all that kind of process?
I don't know why, but when I was 14, 15 maybe, I just went up to my dad and said, Dad, I want a bank account. So he said, just go to the bank and find out what's up with that. The first time with saving money, actually, and this is credit to my parents, was when I wanted stuff.
Yeah.
So they had a really good system that they didn't even know about. They did this completely accidentally. But I think the first thing I ever wanted that was quite expensive was like an iPod.
Yeah.
And what I did was... we had dinner tickets in our school for like the broke kids.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that.
Free lunch meals.
Yeah, but they would give you a little ticket.
Okay.
So it was just a raffle ticket. I think they bought them off Amazon. We didn't have Amazon back then. Or did we? Yeah. But they would give you a raffle ticket.
Yeah. These
raffle tickets were worth £1.42.
Okay.
And so you could go in and get a school meal for £1.42. And I used to sell them for £1. Now, you might think that's a terrible profit margin. However, that was the going rate.
I mean, I don't think so.
And I got it for free.
I mean, I don't think so. It was like you made 42p per.
No. I didn't. They give them to me for free.
Okay.
I could cash that in for £1.42's worth of food.
Okay.
Or I could give them to my friend who didn't get school meals. He would give me £1. His
and then what would you do?
I would save this money.
No, but what would you eat?
Oh, I didn't.
Okay.
This was okay. I didn't. I didn't think that far ahead. I was in like year 7, year 8. I was a kid, so I didn't really think that far ahead. Who needs food? And besides, I come from a Middle Eastern household, Ash.
Yeah.
Where when you get home, food's in abundance.
Sure. All right. You don't need no free lunch.
So I didn't eat at school, but at home before going to school, I ate loads. When I got home, there was, and for all my Arabs out there was tepsis full of food. Wow. A tepsi is just a giant thing that you cook on a giant pot. There was pots and pots of food when I got home.
You never need to worry about.
So I wasn't. Don't worry about me. I wasn't starving.
So how much did you save in the end?
So for the iPod, I can't remember how much they were going for, but I saved about £50.
Wow. Okay.
And this is the cool thing. I told my parents this. I told my dad this, that I had been saving up these pound coins to go buy this. And he was like, all right, good work. And for my birthday, he bought me the iPod.
Yeah.
And my mum's done the same thing countless times. I did the same thing when I wanted to buy a laptop. They saw that I put in the effort and they rewarded that. And I like that. Again, I don't think they were consciously doing it. I think they saw how much I wanted something. They saw what I was willing to put in. But I don't know what was going on through their heads. Maybe they just wanted me to actually eat at school.
Yeah.
But they were rewarding the effort I was putting in. So that's my first encounter with savings.
All right. So that £50 that you had, plus whatever your parents helped you with to get that iPod after you worked for it.
Yeah.
Do you think you really thought long and hard about where you spent that money?
No.
Okay.
No, I felt a desire to own an iPod.
Yeah.
And I just assessed my options. Again, very kind of mundane,
But this was before you earned it.
Sorry?
This was before you earned it?
Yeah, I really wanted an iPod.
Yeah, sure.
So, because without that desire, I would never have saved. So I would have just had the school meals. But yeah, it was just, I heard of a kid at school who was selling their dinner ticket. And I was like, I could do that. And I remembered there was a guy looking for it, who was looking to buy these off me. So just every day with them.
So what I'm trying to get to is when you work for that money that you then went to spend, obviously you made your decision way beforehand and you went for that. But your decision becomes a lot more calculated once you've got your money in your hand than if your parents had just given you £100. Right? Yeah.
The order definitely matters.
Why is that? Why is there a difference? Why when you work for something, do you treat your money carefully and you make like a special decision? Whereas when you're given money,
good question,
you suddenly don't care.
I think it's the order in which you think about the money. In my situation, it was I desire a thing, I need money to transact for that thing. Whereas when you're a kid and you're just given money, maybe even as an adult, but this is me as a kid, if I'd have just been given money, I would have just thought, how do I spend this money? There wasn't like tied into anything. And I just being completely honest, I would never in a million years have thought maybe I should save this for a rainy day. Back then, that's not how I thought.
That wasn't how you thought.
So I think now,
but whether you consume or not, what I see is when you put work into creating money, because that's all it is. You're exchanging time for money, right? Your treatment of that money and that value is more. Whereas when you're given handouts or you're given, free money, your thought process behind the decision you make, you almost you spend it on anything. This is true. This is very true. It's almost like, and because it's the subconscious difference between spending your salary versus spending your tax rebate. Right. It's all psychological. That money is still yours and it was still earned through your work. But psychologically, it just appeared. Free money. It just appeared. It wasn't in exchange. Interesting. And so I think it was the fact that it took no effort to obtain that money. So maybe we're all too quick to connect that in our brain that sometimes without any effort, that money comes back. Whereas suddenly when you are paying for something out of your salary, you don't feel like you're paying with the money, you're paying with the effort exerted. That time that you can't get back. Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you building up towards time's more valuable than money? Because I think you just...
Essentially, there's something more here that I'm trying to get into.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's essentially what I'm trying to see. Hey there, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for supporting us and also taking the time to watch this podcast. Please do let us know how you feel about it, but also give us a subscribe wherever you are, whatever you're listening to. If that's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, just give us a subscribe or a like, and that'll really mean the world to us. Thank you.
And we got 15.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, at the moment, our world is very consumer focused, right? There was a lot of free money coming in. Certainly, interest rates were very low for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
There was this consumption. So we've spoken about this previously, but there's a theory, Keynesian theory.
Yeah.
John Maynard Keynes, who assumed that consumption and heavy consumption leads to a productive economy.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea of giving free money, stimulus, all of that leads to a productive economy. But there's an idea that is leading to poor decisions in the world. Like because the money hasn't been earned.
Sorry, can I ask a dumb person question? Why does consumption lead to a growing economy? What's the logic there?
That you're continuously circulating money through the economy.
Gotcha.
So the logic is, without that, say we rein in consumption,
Yeah.
what would the need to produce more goods? We'd become less profitable.
Yeah.
Companies would stop making as much goods.
They'd hire less people.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I understand the logic.
But there's a thought process that we're kind of on a hamster wheel because we think we need to be producing consumption. We have consumption.
Yeah.
We're continuously producing. We're doing that. We're making profitability and all of that stuff. Staff are earning, but they're having to earn more because suddenly everything increases in price. You start having inflation. So really, if we have a staff member that we employ 40 hours a week, they think they're earning more, but really their standard of living goes down because things cost more relative to their wage and so on, and these things happen. So there's a big argument that consumption isn't the only contributing factor to a productive economy. Now, I know I've jumped very far, but I was trying to go back to where you were with the money you earn, you spend more carefully, whereas the money you're given, you kind of just spend it on less productive assets.
Yeah.
So in an economy, if you are working a little bit less, how can I say this? If there's less free money coming through the economy, we will consume less.
Yeah.
But we will start to think more about the purchases we go for.
Yeah.
So suddenly we'll think real hard about a piece of machinery we're going to get in the workplace rather than just flinging it on the first thing that comes through.
Yeah.
And we start to make more well-thought decisions, which leads to a better economy and a more productive place overall in this aspect.
I like this. By the way, I like anything that gives control back to the people. That's why I loved Hassan Kubba's book, which was, this is the world we live in. Here's what you can do about it. It gives control back to the person. What you just said to me indicates to me that we actually have more control than we think over the economy. So ask anyone on the street, who's in control of the economy? Everybody's going to say, oh, it's the government. But actually, what you just said seems to indicate actually where we put our money in controls the economy.
Yeah.
Right? So if everybody stopped buying an iPhone once a year, Apple would just release an iPhone every 2 years.
Right.
And so we would consume less, we would waste less. If we didn't buy as many clothes, like ASOS. Fast fashion blows my mind as an industry. How much is bought on ASOS? How much is returned to ASOS? How much of it ends up in landfills? Yeah. If we only buy clothes within control, then ASOS has to ramp down production. And then we suddenly have more money to... that's where I'm getting stuck then. Yeah. We consume less. We control a bit more of where the money goes. How do we grow an economy in that environment?
Okay, so let's take a step back. Why are we consuming more?
Yeah.
We're consuming it because if you hold £1,000 in your bank account with very low interest rates, because most banks aren't giving interest rates, although the UK has gone to 5%, inflation's at 10%, your money year on year is worth 5% less. Yeah. So we're being incentivized that you must consume today, and you want to consume today. Yeah. Whereas if I told you that, Sam, that £1,000, you can either buy the iPhone today, or if you wait 2 years, you'll be able to buy 3 iPhones. You start thinking a bit more about your decisions. Oh. You start thinking, do I really need this iPhone? Yeah. Or do I want to hold off until more? And some people will argue, yeah, but that's going to lead to less consumption in the world. We're not going to be consuming things. But no, you start thinking strongly about exactly what's going to bring you the true value you need and what's not. It won't stop you from buying a Mac. If you need a Mac that's probably going to beat the return on value that you would have got in 3 years, whether that's through how you feel, whatever, you'll go for it. So essentially, that's the same with clothes. You start making very genuine decisions. You're like, do I really need 5 cheap t-shirts off ASOS, or I'm going to hold that and just buy one that lasts me a longer time? And this whole consumerism economy starts to change. Yeah.
And so I just had a negative thought that I wanted to clarify and make sure we're not going down this route. We're not talking about the whole stop buying avocados so you can start buying a house, right? That's not what we're saying.
No. This is much bigger than that.
This is way bigger. This is the next level. Because that thing bothers me quite a lot. But no, this is very much, actually, we're in more control of the economy than we think.
Yeah.
And we can actually add value to the money that we have by being very careful where we put it.
Yeah, right? See, the whole avocado and buy a house thing is expecting people to make that decision.
Yeah.
People go with incentives. People are driven by incentives. Like, if the avocado brings them that much joy, they'll buy the avocado.
Yeah.
You can't make them change their ideas just because the house is a better idea and logic, right? The idea here is, yes, you can buy the house, you can buy the avocados today, or you can hold your money and you can buy more avocados tomorrow. Do you really want to be spending that much today? Is that really bringing you the joy it should? Or are you just having it because it feels good and it'll make a nice Instagram? Like, these are the kind of thought processes. So we go up the ladder and we think, how are we in more control? And it's down to our money. And I always get back to this conversation, but it's for one real good reason, that our money at the moment is inflating. Like, there is no going back now. It will inflate for the rest of our lives in eternity. The money that we use today, we transact in, that's fiat currency, USD, GBP, AUD, euros, all of that is inflating. And that very much being our money will always lead us to a consumerist economy.
Right.
There is no go, unless we make a change.
Because so is that linked to because it's infinite, essentially?
It's continuously, they can produce as much as they want, they will, and they'll also have to inflate because our debt burden is too high in every economy. Yeah. So they have to kind of inflate that debt away.
Yeah, I remember having this conversation with you in the car where I was like, actually, why don't we just write off all the debt? And then you're like, but that screws you because all the money in your bank account and that debt is owed to me.
Yeah.
As well as you, as anybody watching, that debt is owed to everyone.
This is it.
And I was immediately against the idea. I was like, whoa. I want to clear the debt. I don't want a negative impact on my money.
So let's go with another example.
Yeah.
If you don't use USD, let's say we all transacted with gold.
Okay.
Right? Like gold, with gold coins. We can all logically think how that would work, right? Yeah. I'll give you a gold coin, you don't. That money is fixed to a certain extent. It grows by about 2% year on year, but it's like a capped supply to a certain extent. So,
why does it grow?
Because they're mining a little bit more every year.
Right. Sure.
But it's a very nominal amount in the grand schemes of it. So it's a relatively fixed supply that we have in the world.
Right? I love that even in this imaginary scenario, you have to make it realistic that there are still people mining.
Yeah, no, there is. They can find it here and there, but it's not much, right? Yeah. So on the whole, we have, 10 trillion pounds worth of gold in the economy. And there can't be any more pounds of gold, right? Or pounds of silver, let's say. Yeah. We will transact, we will go. But at the end of the day, our money's value will continuously increase. Because basically technology, everything, we're producing more of it, that all deflates in price compared to our gold. Are you following me there?
Yes, because there's more of that stuff, but that stays the same.
Exactly. Yeah. There's more abundance in everything. So there's more iPhones being produced. It's actually cheaper to produce because they're making more efficient ways to produce it. Relative to the fixed amount of gold that you have in your pocket, you're actually going to be able to buy more next year. Yeah. So you continuously see that. So suddenly it's quite easy to imagine how you now have a choice whether you want to part ways with your gold, buy the iPhone or not, right? And the thought process here is people will say, no, but in that kind of world, things are deflating. Deflationary economy, the opposite of inflation, inflationary economy, things go down. Suddenly you start earning less. If the company pays you 10 gold coins this year, they might pay you 9 next year. No one wants that. It's like, actually, hold on a second. But your 9 gold coins will buy you more than the 10 gold coins did this time.
Right.
And the value of those 9 gold coins is actually more than your 10 gold coins.
It's kind of like shares in a company, right? If you have to, what's the word for it? When your shares shrink.
Dilute.
Yeah, when you dilute your shares at face value, it seems like a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Like I owned 10%, now I only own 4, 5, 6.
What's going on?
Yeah, but actually because of money coming in and because of the growth of the business, that smaller percentage is worth more. You're owning a smaller percentage of a bigger pie versus a bigger percentage of a small pie.
Exactly. And what is that pie? That is the economy.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've held your ground within that, but you're earning. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. So you're saying you have a lot of money. If you have a lot of inflated money, you have a... Hold on.
So you're trying to put it in the shares term?
Yeah, and it messed up.
So, essentially what's happening is you're inflating your currency.
Yeah.
And you're inflating the amount more than the economy is, more than the company is actually growing.
Yeah.
So suddenly you're just creating as much as you can. You're creating as many shares as you can, which people do.
Yeah.
And it's causing dilution, but a worse dilution because the actual pie hasn't grown by as much.
Yeah. So the money that you have is this. No, it doesn't work. Let's
say this. Say a company's worth $1 million.
Yeah.
And you have 1 million shares, right, in the company. There are 1 million shares allotted to everyone within that company. And then tomorrow the company is worth 10 million, but suddenly you have 100 million shares.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's happening in our economy.
Okay.
And that person sitting there with their 1,000 shares thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to do well.
But your percentage is shrinking.
Yeah. And the company's not growing by as much.
Yeah.
So really your actual value has gone down.
Yeah.
So you follow?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in this world at the moment. And I don't think enough people see it that way. Yeah. And there is no going back. We have to move to some kind of fixed supply like gold.
Yeah.
We have to...
Bitcoin.
We have to be moving. Well, that will take me to my next bit. But for many years, everyone thought gold would replace... Because gold was the original thing. We were on a gold standard.
Why we ever left, I'll never know.
Well, because the government had control, right? Yeah. And people had control in the wrong way. But essentially, the world is meant to run on a fixed supply.
Yeah.
And this all got defunct about 1971 or something in America. And then everything went through. Suddenly, people started taking their money away from currency and started putting it in real estate and so on. Things start skyrocketing. Things getting really expensive. We're just taking it as it's the way the world works, but change is about to happen, big time. And that's essentially where we go with it. Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm excited as well. We could do with a refresh, you know? I know how that sounds, but I'm like, whatever we're doing, just thinking of the greater good, right? Whatever we're doing right now doesn't work. Like, whenever you look, if you just Google the financial place in this world, nothing ever good comes up.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe a nice...
A bit of a reset.
Shake up, yeah. Just like going back to the start, we need on a personal level.
Exactly.
The economy's tired, man.
Yeah.
The economy's just been so busy for the last few years.
But see, it could do a hard break.
Yeah.
Or it can start to make micro changes. I think the micro changes are already happening. They've been happening.
Ash, that circle is so full.
Because people are sick and tired. And they are. Like, the world's waking up one by one. Like, the conversation we're having here, you're very well informed. But we need to be having that conversation more with other people. Yeah. Because people need to know how broken the system is. Yeah. And how things need to change. And I can't sleep until it's fixed. Yeah. And
we all have the power to do it. Mm-hmm. Stop spending your money.
Well, but we'll start putting your money somewhere other than currency. Yeah, because the currency's broken. But cool.
I got a skedaddle.
Yes, you have. Meeting now.
Yes.
But
it's all good.
If you enjoyed the Feel Good Inc. podcast, episode something, please don't forget to subscribe, do what you can do to support the channel. Really mean the world to us. And make sure you let us know if you enjoyed this or not. That really will help. Cheers. Thank you.